Number 10. Taking shots at CM Punk. One of AEW's lowest moments came at the All Out 2022 Brawl Out press conference, where CM Punk would publicly blast and rant about the company and his fellow colleagues. As CM Punk made his way to the locker room, he would be confronted by the Elite, where a huge brawl reportedly broke out between Punk, Ace Steel, the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega and more, resulting in everyone involved being suspended. Fast forward a couple of months and the Elite would make their return to AEW. During a 6-man tag team match together, Omega bit Pac on the arm, which was a sly nod toward Ace Steel doing the same thing during the backstage brawl at All Out. Omega would also hit the GTS towards the end of the match as well, and on top of that, Matt Jackson botched the buckshot lariat just like CM Punk had. But a lot of people felt that all of this was going too far and that it should have been left in the past. Number 9. The Breaker of Thrones. Competition is always a good thing for wrestling, and there is no doubt that having AEW around is better for the business overall. Tony Khan's company has enjoyed taking plenty of shots at the WWE over the years, and whilst some have come across humorous, others just seem desperate and unnecessary. A great example of this came during Cody Rhodes' entrance at AEW's Double or Nothing 2019 pay-per-view, where he would destroy a giant throne with a sledgehammer, taking a direct hit at the self-proclaimed King of Kings Triple H and the WWE. It was a case of AEW going overboard and being far too on the nose, as acts like this only look to divide wrestling fans, which is what wrestling shouldn't be about. Number 8. The Chairman makes his mark. At AEW Fyter Fest 2019, we were given a perfect example of why chair shots to the head are banned in pro wrestling nowadays, as on this night, Shawn Spears would make an impact and look to start his legacy in AEW by turning heel and smashing a steel chair right over the head of Cody Rhodes. Whilst the chair had been gimmicked, the problem came when Spears hit Cody with the wrong part of the chair, resulting in a huge gash to open up on Cody's head with blood pouring out. The injury would require 12 staples to seal shut and help launch Spears' chairman gimmick, but in hindsight, it was a risk that didn't need to be taken and is a perfect example of the dangers of direct chair shots to the head in pro wrestling. Number 7. Tony Khan criticises Big Swole. Fans are often used to pro wrestlers arguing over social media, but fans don't expect to see the company higher-ups getting involved. In this instance, Tony Khan seems to struggle at times when posting on social media, as he has often gone overboard, and this was evident when Big Swole was released from the company. She made several comments online about AEW's representation of black wrestlers, but rather than keeping his thoughts private, Tony Khan decided to blast her online via Twitter, stating that he didn't think she was good enough in the ring, which is all good and well, but he should have kept it to himself instead of airing it online. Number 6. Sandbag issues. Over recent years, Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa seem to have built up some heat with each other backstage. In one instance, Britt Baker had claimed that Rosa had sandbagged her during a match, which means she hadn't helped in assisting and making the move look good, instead making Britt look bad. However, AEW would begin tapping into this issue on television, with Thunder Rosa even sporting a sandbag t-shirt at one point, which was an example of the company going too far. An incident like sandbagging not only highlights the idea that pro wrestling is predetermined, but it also brought backstage drama into the ring, which just didn't work. Number 5. Pizza Cutter Mania. AEW has often faced criticism for featuring too much blood and gore at times, and fans have criticised the company for relying on it too much. A Jon Moxley match in general is a good example of this, but this was never more clear than when Chris Jericho faced hardcore legend Nick Gage in a death match on AEW Dynamite. The match went to the extremes, with a variety of weapons being used, from the likes of glass to broken light tubes. But at one point, Nick Gage brought out his signature pizza cutter and began slicing it on the bloody forehead of Chris Jericho. It caused issues for AEW with sponsors, as a Domino's pizza commercial would air side by side in picture-in-picture, whilst Gage cut at Jericho with the pizza cutter. AEW had to apologise to their sponsors, and it's a spot that some fans felt was over the top for a normal weekly episode of television. Number 4. MJF calls out Tony Khan. When done right, a shoot promo in wrestling can be the catalyst for a wrestler's career. MJF got to do just that before going on a short break from the company in 2023, but he went to the extremes in the promo, to the point where it may have been too far. The main issue with the promo is that it made the company itself look terrible. Seeing one of the top stars demanding to be fired and name-dropping WWE and names like Nick Khan is not always a great look for a new company trying to build its own fan base. Number 3. Christian doesn't want to be Jungle Boy's father. Anytime a promo or wrestling angle brings up a real-life death, it can be seen as going too far, as a lot of people are uncomfortable with situations like that being put into a wrestling product. This is why some felt that Christian Cage's turn on Jungle Boy was an issue, and his promos ended up being quite controversial. Before the eventful formation of Christian's patriarchy stable, the wrestling veteran would claim that Jungle Boy was looking at him to be a father figure because his actual father had passed away. As Christian went on to take shots at Jungle Boy and the situation, it certainly got heat from the audience, but it's no doubt that it was something that people found to be too much. Number 2. Allowing Matt Hardy to keep wrestling. Health and safety have become paramount within wrestling nowadays, after plenty of awful incidents of wrestlers having passed away well before their time. For the most part, AEW have done a good job of keeping its talent safe, but at the All Out 2020 pay-per-view, during a Broken Rules match between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy, the company failed. As the pair brawled backstage, they would end up on top of a scissor lift, only for Guevara to spear Hardy off the lift to the floor below. The problem was that Hardy's head hit directly onto the concrete floor, missing the tables completely. Hardy would somehow go on to finish the match, but was visibly shaken and unable to stand up properly, which made for very nervous and uncomfortable viewing for fans. Number 1. CM Punk calls out Hangman Adam Page. Towards the end of his first AEW run, CM Punk had a grievance with a number of talent backstage, but going into business for yourself in wrestling is always an example of people going too far. This was clear when CM Punk unexpectedly decided to call out Hangman Adam Page in the middle of the ring during a promo. This was in retaliation to comments that Hangman Page had previously made about Punk backstage, but Punk calling out Hangman on TV was not planned beforehand, so obviously Adam Page was never going to be able to answer the call, and that made him look terrible and cowardly. It was unprofessional, and it's the type of situation that desperately needs to be avoided, especially for a brand new company. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more wrestling content.